Sometimes teachers say some pretty crazy stuff, and today is no exception. In today's story time, this teacher teaches her class that men have no feelings and men have no rights and that men are completely useless. Yeah, let's just jump into this crazy story. So we're going to call today's subscriber who submitted this story Nicholas. So anyways, this all started one day in class, and Nicholas had this teacher who was always a little bit strange. But just one day, she just went completely mask off. She just went straight into the deep end. So let's jump into it. So one day in class, teacher has some off comments, some really weird comments, and let me explain. So Nicholas is just sitting there, and he's with his friends, and he's not going to lie, he wasn't paying the closest attention ever. He wasn't like the most dialed in because, man, I don't know, sometimes like English language classes, learning about like gerunds and pronouns, like, dude, I kind of don't care. Like, I know how to speak English either way. Like, bro, I'm sorry. So yeah, I get it. And Nicholas was not paying the utmost attention. But when he just happened to zone back in at the right moment because the teacher was saying something and was like, okay, guys, so we're going to learn how to use something, right? He said, so here is our example sentence. Men are trash. And like most people weren't paying attention, but Nicholas was. And he kind of looks at the board. And he's like, hey, bro, what? Huh? And he like turns to his friend. He kind of nudges his friend a little bit. He's like, dude. And his friend's like, oh, what? Because he's like on his phone or whatever. And his friend looks up. He's like, wait, does that say men are trash? And Nicholas is like, yeah, the teacher just wrote that as like the example sentence. And they were kind of both looking at each other a little bit confused because they don't really know why the teacher wrote that. It doesn't make a ton of sense to them. But they're kind of like, maybe it's just a really weird example question, right? So the teacher acts as if she wrote the most normal sentence on the board. She was acting like she was like, she wrote, pigeons can fly, or ducks can swim, or the house is big. That's the same thing as saying men are trash, bro. What? Yeah, so this was just the first inkling of just this first little observation that something was not right here. And let me just say that the teacher goes from a little subliminal messages to freaking megaliminal. I don't know. She just like the next day, she goes super mask off. So leaving class, Nicholas kind of turns to his friends. He's like, dude, that was really weird today. And everyone was like, yeah, dude, like what even went on? Like why did that come up? Because the teacher like said, oh, this word is like a pronoun. This one is a noun. This one's a verb. Just like dissecting the men are trash sentence and then just moves on to another sentence. And Nicholas is like, it was so weird. It's like she just threw that up on the board and not really understanding anything. So basically, this teacher has a agenda against men. Hates men, right? Hates all the boys. And the thing is, this teacher wanted to try and teach everyone that men were terrible and that men must be destroyed and eliminated with subliminal messages. So this teacher was like writing stuff on the board, like she would write, cats are nice or whatever, the tree is big, to do like, I don't know, like grammar work. And then she'll just write stuff like, men aren't necessary for the survival of the human race. And everyone's like, hey, yo, bro, pause, what? Yo, chill, dude, huh? And so she's trying to slip this stuff in. But I think the teacher realized that she needs to go even more aggressive with her teachings. If she's going to really teach people that men are useless, she's going to have to straight up tell them. So the next day in class is probably the craziest day in class that Nicholas has ever had. This is the most ridiculous thing. So guys, strap in. This is crazy. So Nicholas walks into class, assuming it's going to be another normal day of English language class. He's going to learn about his sentence structure. He's going to learn about new vocab words. He's expecting it to be a normal day in class, man. I mean, why wouldn't he? But he walks into class, and today, let me just tell you guys, the teacher is not about to teach anything about the English language. She's about to teach something a little bit different, as you guys will see. And by a little bit different, I mean it's freaking insane. So anyways, they walk into class, and the teacher has nothing on the board. Normally, the teacher has written a bunch of stuff on the chalkboard just to kind of like jump into the lesson. But today was different because the teacher was just going to be speaking to them. She was just going to be teaching them, teaching with massive quotations, from the heart. She was going to speak to them directly. So she was just sitting down she like brought a stool to the front of the class and sat down on the stool and was like, guys, come on, come in. Everybody sit down. We have a very special lesson today. And by very special, I think she mean absolutely insane, bat crap crazy, bro. So when everyone sits down, the teacher is like, all right, guys, we have a very special lesson today. I think we've done a lot of great work with, grammar recently, so I thought I'd have a more important lesson. Because I believe, in school, you need to learn more than just, technical things. Like, you need to learn more in math class than how to, find a square root. You need to learn more in English class than how to figure out what a gerund is. You need to know more in history than what day, George Washington was born. And, I agree with this idea. I think we need to learn more in school than just the facts and whatever. A lot of school is socializing, learning how to do research, learning how to do hard things, time management, obviously, right? But this teacher twists this idea and says, so today I need to teach the girls something. Guys, sit, you can't leave, but this lesson is really for the girls. So at this point, Nicholas kind of turns to the boys and they're like, yo, what? And the guys kind of look at each other, and also the girls are kind of confused too. They're like, why would English class only apply to us? And I think some of them were kind of bummed. They're like, wait, we need to do work, but the guys don't? They were probably thinking that the teacher was actually being in favor of guys for a second, but they would realize this is not the case, as the teacher is like, girls, I need to let you know something. Men have no feelings. They have no feelings. Statistically, research has said that men have no feelings. And Nicholas is like, wait, bro, what? Huh? What are you saying right now? And the English teacher legitimately goes on to be like, yes, I was talking to my scientific peers, and they have said that there's quite budding evidence that men have no feelings. And Nicholas is like, what? I get it. I'm kind of a bot, bro, but what do you say? What? What do you mean? What do you mean I have no feelings? And she's like, yes, ladies, you must understand something. As women, it is our primal nature to ruin them. You must ruin every man you see. And Nicholas is like, am I in a fever dream right now? Are you serious right now, bro? What is going on? So Nicholas turns to his friends. He's like, dude, what? And the teacher goes on to be like, yes, look, I can cite my sources, but I don't want to, which means that so it's like saying, oh, yes, here's a piece of information. And someone asks for the source and you're like, citation me, motherfucker. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, the teacher's like, yeah, so men have no feelings. And ladies, repeat after me. I must ruin all men. And everyone in the class is like, what? And some of the girls are like, I must ruin all men? So one of the girls raises her hand and she's like, but Miss Davenport, I have a lot of friends that are guys and they do have feelings. And Miss Davenport's like, oh, Sandy, you sweet, sweet girl. That's just men trying to trick you into thinking that they have feelings so that they can wreck you. Don't let them wreck you. You must wreck them first. The girls in class are super uncomfortable with all this. And the guys in class are less uncomfortable because they just are so shocked. They're like, bruh, huh? What? Yeah. So the class continues on with Miss Davenport sitting at the front of the class, instructing all the women that they must ruin all men. They must ruin them. And let me just give you guys a little bit of context as to why Miss Davenport is not so happy with men. Yes, she has recently been dumped by one. Yeah, this is why she's going on a crazy tirade. So basically, Miss Davenport, apparently, right, this is what I'm told by Nicholas, who is told by a friend, and okay, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what I was told, right? Miss Davenport had recently been dumped in a 3-week-long relationship, so it's not like, oh my God, we've been together for 6 years, I built my life around someone, which is totally valid, and that sucks. Dude, it's been 3 weeks. Get over yourself. He's probably like, oh, hell no, after just knowing more about you, apparently. And then she's like, oh, my God, and goes on Twitter for 1 second, sees a bunch of yes, no, he's the worst, queen. You're the best. Destroy them all. Sees all that kind of garbage, right? And it's like, oh, my God, this is facts, guys. This is facts. Yeah, so anyways, she decided that she was going to bring that to the classroom and that she was going to save the women there by telling them that they must obliterate all the men. Bro, what? Huh? Yeah, so anyways, the class ends and Nicholas, walks out of class, and immediately turns to the boys. And they all just stop there. And they all like burst out laughing. Because they're taking this seriously because it's like, they're like, wow, this is crazy. But I don't know about you guys, but has it ever been like something is just so surreal and absurd that you just can't help but start laughing? Like they were literally they just broke out laughing because they just couldn't, they just couldn't control themselves. They're like, what just happened? Like that might have been the most insane thing that I've ever been through. So you thought that class was crazy. Nicholas thought that was the craziest class that he will ever go to. However, you and Nicholas, if you believe that, are not prepared for the next day. Because the next day rolls around and Nicholas enters class having no idea what to expect. Partly he was believing that, Miss Davenport was like just coming out of a bad relationship, which she was, and was just venting, which she was, and that even though it was super inappropriate for her to say any of that, and especially to like dedicate an entire class to that, Nicholas was almost 100% certain that next class would be different. Class. Class is the secret word of the day, so if you made it this far into the video, comment class down below. And by the way, while you're down there, in the pinned comment is a link to the Spotify where you can listen to all these stories. And also in the pinned comment is a link to my second channel where I post daily memes. I'm posting daily on there now. Please subscribe. I'm just starting to post, so I really could use some support. And also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, rate 5 stars. It helps out, and let's get right back to it. So anyways, Nicholas is like, okay, there's no way that she's going to spend another class saying anything like this. Wrong. Miss Davenport decides to spend the next class doing this, but saying something even crazier, bro. So anyways, we get into class, we being Nicholas and everyone else. They sit down, and Nicholas is like kind of prepared to like take out his pencil, learn about verbs or whatever. But the second he walks into the classroom, he realizes that it's going to be another nonsense session because he walks in and once again, nothing is written on the board. And Miss Davenport is sitting in that little stupid stool that she brought to the front of the classroom to have a heart-to-heart with the ladies, right? So Nicholas is like, oh, hell no, bro. Oh, no. He's like, oh, God damn it. God. So, because he already knows, bro, it's already going to be another crazy session. So he sits down and like he turns to his friend, who's a guy, and he's like, dude. His friend's like, yeah. He's like, dude, it's going to be crazy today. And his friend's like, yeah, I'm prepared. I have no idea what's coming. And they were not prepared for this because this was actually insane. So basically, Miss Davenport is like, hello, everyone. Today, I actually have a presentation. So for a second, Nicholas is like, oh, okay, we're going back to normal stuff. So she attaches her Chromebook or whatever to the projector and starts to project slides. So one would believe, okay, multiple choice question. Comment A down below if you believe that on these slides, it's information about, I don't know, verbs, pronouns, gerunds, sentence structure, clauses, stuff that they're supposed to be learning about in school, at least in this class. Or comment B if you believe it is a slide about how men need to have their civil rights taken away from them. Bruh. If you commented A, you are a sweet, loving individual, and I hope the best for you. If you comment B, then you're very cynical, but unfortunately you are correct here. It was B. Yeah, so the first slide is just kind of like the cover slide, why men should have no rights. And everyone in class is like, huh? Excuse-moi? Huh? Like, come again, my friend? Am I? No. I must have something in my ear. Like, I must have something jammed up in there because there's no way I heard you correctly. There's no way I heard that correct, right? No way. Yeah, so they get there. And Miss Davenport is like, all right, so first slide. Men should have no right to vote. We should take that away from them. Ladies, listen to me right now. Men, stay quiet. They're all like, what? She's like, look at the government body right now. Most of them are men. We need to change that. And it seems like the only way to change that is to have only women vote. And let me just say something. Yeah, there is a disproportionate representation of men in bodies of Congress and government or whatever. But those are elected positions. And last time I checked, there are actually more women in the United States. And bro, if you wanted to vote only women in, you probably could if you got all the girls together, say only vote for women, right? What do you mean you got to take men out of the equation? You probably still have the same people elected, bro. What? Yeah, so she's like, yeah, so we need to legally get rid of their right to vote. And they're all like, the girls in class were like, Miss Davenport, doesn't that break some amendment or something like, are all people supposed to have rights? And she's like, well, we can change that, Sally. Did you ever hear about changing amendments before? Yeah, yeah. So the rest of that class was just explaining about how every single right, that at least in the United States, right? Every single right that you're given should be taken away from if you're a man. And the entire class is like, what? What? And they leave the class, and Nicholas turns to his friend. He's like, there's no way this gets crazier. No way. Yeah, so unfortunately, bro, it kind of does. Because the next day, Nicholas is like, okay, there is no way that, she's got to stop. She's got to be stopped. Either she's got to stop or she's got to be stopped by someone else. There's no way this can continue. But here, let me just say that if you guys thought the last two were pretty crazy, because saying that men have no feelings, that's pretty crazy. Saying that, men should have their rights taken away from them because they're guys. I'm sorry, I got the peen when I was born. Bro, I'm sorry. I apologize with all my heart, but come on. Yeah, if you thought that stuff was crazy, then you guys need to prepare yourselves, because this day is the craziest day. This is the most insane, absurd statement ever. So I think Miss Davenport must have been spending 1,700 billion hours per day on TikTok and Twitter to come to such brain rot of an opinion as she's about to share today. So she comes in and she's like, guys, I have a very important discussion for us. Because once again, Nicholas already knows that he's about to see some nonsense, because once again, nothing's written on the chalkboard. She has her stupid little stupid little stool in the front so she can sit down and have girl talk again, right? And she's like, all right, let's be real here, guys. Let's be real. I really don't think men need to exist anymore. And everyone's like, bruh, what? And she's like, yeah, I really just guys, hear me out. I don't think we need to have men anymore. I don't think we need them in society. I mean, now women can fertilize themselves. Ew, lol. Bro, stop saying fertilize to a bunch of random, middle schoolers, bro. Chill. This isn't a health class. But she's like, yeah, they can fertilize themselves. So I was thinking, life would just be easier if we just slowly eradicated all the men. And everyone's like, huh? What? What are you saying, Miss Davenport? And she's like, well, I don't know. I definitely am for the movement. And I've seen it on Twitter of forcefully destroy all men. And they're like, bruh, what? So at this point, Nicholas is like, yo, dude. Yo, dude. Yeah, so let me just say that, to put it lightly, the class was very uncomfortable with Miss Davenport saying that, all men should be doinked, right? That sounds pretty bad. I don't know. I just feel like deciding that everyone should be nerfed if they have some characteristic that they can't control, or even if they can control, yo, dude, that's a little stress, bro. That's a little, So yeah, this was the most insane class ever. And Miss Davenport was like, guys, it's just an opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion, guys. And everyone's like, yo, bro. And she was like, ladies, don't you agree with me? And looks at all the girls in the class. And all the girls in the class are like, no? Yeah, so when people walked out of class that day, literally every single person in class stood outside the classroom. Guys, girls, Nicholas, everyone. And they're just like, that was insane. That went way too far. And Nicholas is like, what are we going to explain? What's going to come tomorrow? So at this point, he's thinking, tomorrow in class, that's going to be even more insane. She's literally, if we just chart this on a graph, she's literally going to come in with with a machine gun and blow up all the men, bro. What the frick, bro? Yeah, so anyways, they're all like, damn, what is she going to say tomorrow? So anyways, the next day comes around, and Nicholas walks in, and he's just wondering, okay, what's going to be today's daily dose of nonsense from Miss Davenport? However, he walked in, and there was no Miss Davenport. Instead, some random old guy was sitting in her desk. So Nicholas is like, oh, no Miss Davenport today? And this guy says, yeah, no Miss Davenport today, and tomorrow, and for the rest of the year. I am your new teacher. Everyone, this is a good time for me to announce it. Hi, I'm Mr. Stevenson. I will be your teacher from this point on. Ms. Davenport is no longer teaching at the school for a difference of opinions. And yeah, you guys were in the middle of, I think, verbs and sentences. So pull out your books to chapter 7. So yeah, bye-bye, Miss Davenport. I will be smoking that Miss Davenport pack. L.